Good morning. It's Wednesday, October 5th, early morning. We're here with myths and conventions that will keep you fat. So, today's topic is food as a reward. This topic tends to divide into several different categories. And it's kind of crucial because it has to do with the way we relate to food, the way we react to food, and those relationships are going to decide how we're affected by food as time goes on and we get a little older. So, a lot of people in typical American eating is light or no breakfast, and this is, as you mature, it tends to get worse and worse. Parents are actually very good about emphasizing breakfast at an early age, but as kids like to sleep in and you move to university age, breakfast tends to disappear until lunch being the first meal of the day. So you've traveled in a fast without nutrition from perhaps, even if you had a late night snack, 10 or 11 o'clock at night, for about 12 hours without any nutrition at all. And this is simply, your body is seeking the elements of rebuilding, healing, and cell replacement. And the only thing that replenishes that is water and nutrition, the nutrition you take in through food. So in waiting waiting or putting off, our biggest meal till the end of the day, it is hurting you all day long and not allowing your body to enjoy the recovery and the benefits of good nutrition. It's not allowing you the energy levels and the acuteness of brain activity that you should want to have as well. And I'm sorry about that. I certainly wasn't expecting the phone to ring this early. And the third thing is, you've already gone through a day of a great deal of exercise and activity, and you went through that activity without nutrition. So a well-conditioned person with a great metabolism will use stored body fat in that situation. A person who is in the habit of going long periods without eating food and fasting quite often, their body will get by on the minimal amount of metabolized fat possible. And that's not a situation you want to put yourself in. Then there's the logical standpoint. Simply, when you're rewarding a tough day with a big meal, it just doesn't make sense because you don't have anything to do with that food energy. So if you take your food into, you divide it into foods that are energy driven, which are your carbohydrates, and your foods that are the building blocks of the body, which your protein, which your proteins and fats are. I'm going to have a little trouble with my voice. I'm very sorry about that. Which proteins and fats are the building blocks of the body. In one category, it does make perfect sense. Yeah, you do need your proteins, but you need them throughout the day. And in fact, if you could wake up once during the evening and allow yourself a source of protein, it would be one of the better things that you could do for yourself. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying that that's an ideal situation. It's the type of situation that someone who is only concerned with muscle, the amount of muscle they hold, would do. Now, taking things to a different layer, food as a reward is a common thing in the conditioning of children. I remember that as a child, waiting until allowance day was a big deal, because we'd go to the general store and we'd pick out the candies that we'd like. And, fortunately, I just naturally have never had a huge sweet tooth. And although I wanted chewing gum because I was a little league baseball player, and that reminded me of the baseball players who used to chew tobacco or chew gum back in the day, I'd liked my bubble gum, but I'd more often go for like comics and things that I could have and I wouldn't eat, and then they'd be gone. But a lot of kids learn that these foods that don't have a lot of quality become the foods that they seek the most, because they're not part of their everyday eating. But when they're receiving some type of achievement, or they've earned their allowance, suddenly these foods are accessible to them. And now you've developed an emotional relationship with food. An emotional relationship with food is one of the things that I have a huge struggle with as a trainer. I simply have no emotional attachment to food. Food is a tool to fuel my body and to rebuild and help my body recover. And those are the only things that food does for me. I enjoy it in a social context, and that it's great to have a good meal with friends or out on a date. Of course, that social aspect of eating is an important thing. But to only do that once a day and to turn it into too big a meal for that social reason, again, it still isn't a logical alternative. So my suggestion is to more have a line of thinking that you're eating for what you're going to do, then reward yourself for what you did. And to stay away from your lines of thinking in which food is a reward. You have to think more clinically, rationally, and strategically about food, because emotional eating almost always leads you down a bad path. And that's the path in which you take many positive steps with exercise and with nutrition, and then because you have felt and you're remembering that hard work that went into that, you defeat it with that reward. It is so easy for an hour of eating to destroy a week of hard work when it comes to fitness and nutrition. So that's it for today. You need to think in a different way. Food should not be a reward for you. Food is simply a tool that helps us through the day, fuels our body, and helps us repair and recover and be healthy and well. And as much as you can, avoid an emotional attachment to food, because it rarely leads in a good direction. And when it comes to eating disorders, that's primarily one of the origins of those issues as well. And that's another path that you'd rather see people not have to walk down. So that's your fitness tip of the day from Bedhead Fitness. Well, that's your myth and convention that I'm breaking. If you found this tip helpful, please take the time to like the video, pass it along to anybody that you feel like the information would be helpful to, and leave comments about the topics and myths, or perhaps, since this is the myths and conventions that are actually negative in the fitness context, Think about the things that you've heard are good ideas that you've always had a question about, and I can help clear those up for you. So in the comment section, please take the time, spend a little time asking questions you might have, or bringing up topics you might want to discuss. I always love to hear those. So I hope you have a fantastic fitness day. Thank you, Carmine from Bedhead Fitness, signing off.